Welcome to the Bleedbigblue podcast, dedicated coverage of the New York Football Giants by your hosts, Marco, J Money, Tim, and Captain Negative. Streaming to you live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch.
Four hosts, they bout to wreck shit like Marco. Addicted to the Giants like it's Netflix and Narcos. The CEO making big moves as per usual. Captain Negative calling everybody delusional. This podcast is number one. Like when you take a piss, so share the link and pass it. Like Major making splits and Mr. Make-A-Wish, the sophisticated click. I spit offensive lines now. Tim can take a sip of some beer because he likes the taste of it, right? Don't forget the New York Giants beat the Patriots twice. The sickest dudes eating chips and salsa like it's Victor Cruz. Win or lose, always gonna root for Big Blue. It's true, this a classic show. Tyree, catch it, bro. Play a drinking game while you listen and call it Classico. Take a couple shots. If it's funny, you can rewind to Bleed Blue. Means it's in their jeans like Levi's. Eli, man in the shit, just like a sailor. Captain, we attacking bum rush like Lawrence Taylor. Podcast on point, the sharpest arrows. BBG, stay gritty like Mark Bavaro.
What is going on? What is going on? Good evening, Bleedbigblue Nation. My name is Marco. I am your host for tonight's show. It should be entertaining as usual. It is always a great thing to get on here and talk to you guys about some New York Giants football, get some feedback on what you think the Giants are doing and all that good stuff. Right now, you are probably listening on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, so please share the content, give us a thumbs up, let us know. We'll be monitoring the content sections of all those, and the number to call in is 917, what is it? Sorry, 516-453-9383. I'm getting flustered in my own opening. I believe I have the captain on the line. The captain, are you there? Is that you?
Hey, buddy. What's going on?
How's everything?
Captain Negative. Everything's been good, man. I'm having you know what's nice? It's nice seeing the fan base catch up. Mm-hmm. It's nice seeing the fan base catch up a little bit. Like I feel like I was all by myself for the last year and a half, earning my nickname, and now I feel like they're starting to get it. Like they're coming along for the ride a little bit. There's still some outliers, but for the most part, you're seeing some upset Giant fans starting to really question what's going on and some of the decisions that are being made, and the whole Eli fiasco, sticking with them, sentimental value, that type of stuff, and it's nice to have some company. So I'm in a good mood. How are you, buddy?
I'm in a good mood as well. I don't think
I'm excited about this gentleman that we have coming on.
Yeah.
I don't. Here's the thing, right? So you know me, I'm all over Twitter and all this stuff, and anything Giants related, I poke my nose in. And this cat, and I apologize, like if he's listening or on hold, like I don't know his name.
He's on hold.
I just knew him from his Twitter. I just knew him from his Twitter handle, and then I started looking into some of his stuff, and some of the stuff I agreed with, some of the stuff I didn't agree with, but it was knowledgeable and educated, and it seemed like it was coming from a place where he had some connections and some, inside track stuff, and, hey, anybody that we can expand with or talk to or who may have more knowledge on and insight than we may have, like, let's hear it, right? So, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good show. I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
Where's Tim and Mr. Make-A-Wish?
Who knows, man? Those two are on, like, celebrity schedules. I don't know. Ever since Tim went to California and he's not in camp anymore, like, now all of a sudden he's missed a big time, right? And we got the Super Bowl party where we went to LT's birthday party. That was phenomenal. And then Justin all of a sudden has missed, like, the last couple of shows. Like, they're like superstars. Now. Letting it get to their head, Marco.
Just stroll on in, guys. Whenever guys want to come in.
Yeah, whatever they want. Whenever we'll run the show around your schedule.
Just to do a little housekeeping, next week I believe we're gonna have Fred Robbins on, so catch up with the
that'll be fun.
Champion. Yeah, that should be pretty good.
And I went back and forth with just heads up. I went back and forth with I'll call him Mr. Reasons. I went back and forth with Mr. Reasons a little bit. Some schedule conflicts, but he is looking forward to coming back on, probably within the next, I'd say, 3 to 4 shows. So keep an eye out for another appearance by Mr. Gary Reasons, possibly.
Yeah, here we go.
Month or so.
Should be good. Love to hear from him. All right, the comment section is already filled up. That's horrible. Let's open the phone lines, I'm guessing. Shall we get to our guest, James?
Well, yeah, let's bring him on right away. I mean, I don't know if he has a schedule, a work schedule, or anything like that. If he's nice enough to call in, let's get him on. Let's find out, and let's give everybody his Twitter handle and all that good stuff that may follow us and not him, and share alike. But yeah, let's find out this cat's name.
Right, so it is Rob. His Twitter handle is everythingnyg, and
okay, cool.
I think this is him on the line. I picked it out. Rob, are you there?
Yeah, guys, what's up? How we doing?
What's going on, Rob?
What's up, guys? I appreciate y'all having me, man. I'm looking forward to talking some football.
Yeah, Rob.
Hey, man, we appreciate you jumping on, man.
Yeah. Can you give us?
Yeah, man. Of course.
Can you give us your origin story? Can you give us your bio and do it within 3 minutes?
Yeah, man. Just something quick, man. I started this account at a really young age. I'm still pretty young, and I got my foot in the door. I just started it really to just kind of, get engaged with some Giants fans and just kind of get my name out there, and just did not think it would become this in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? I have some of the greatest followers, man, that just engage all day long. And, after a few years passed and the people started piling up, it started being where I was meeting players, and I was writing for a bunch of companies and got credentials and, all types of cool stuff, man. So I never thought that it would turn into this, but I've met some of the greatest people through this account, and I just have a great time with it. And, I have so many sources now that I've built through here, and people look to me for it. And I just have a good time with it, man. It's just, I love it. I love talking with the fans, and it's a blast, man. I love it.
Yeah,
that was one of the first days that I came across you, that you put out there, like, how do you guys consider me? Do you consider me like a fan, or you consider me like a source?
Right.
And I mean, to me, no disrespect or anything, I didn't know much about you. And then, to see all the fans, coming back saying, I consider you an educated source, really caught my attention. And I was going to ask you to come on after following you for a couple of weeks. I didn't want to just hop in your DMs. I didn't want to go all Mia Khalifa on you. But when you offered to say you were looking to jump on, I thought it would be a good chance to reach out. So appreciate it. What can you? I know you're a Kyler Murray guy, so let's get right to it. Kyler Murray, why? Tell me, because I got my problems with him. I'm a Haskins guy, but convince me, Kyler Murray.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have a lot of reasons for Kyler Murray, and I think the first and the most important, and to me, is just it would bring an entirely new mentality to the team, and that's what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? And when I say mentality, I don't even just mean on the field. I mean off the field as well. And there's a lot of issues with Kyler Murray surrounding the whole baseball thing. A lot of people had issues with it, and a lot of people don't trust that he's still fully committed to football. But I do. I have. You don't win the Heisman and then go play baseball. So in my opinion, the thing that I like most about him is a lot of people like to knock him for his height. He's short. We all know that. But look at it this way. Him and Dwayne Haskins both had 5 knockdown passes this year. It's the same number, and one of them is a lot taller than the other. And I think it's important, too, in this league, especially with all the new rules that they've brought in, that you have a little bit of mobility. And when you have someone like Saquon Barkley, Evan Ingram, Sterling Shepard, and Odell Beckham, it's really easy to want to have a quarterback that can use them correctly, and that's what we're not doing. I feel we're really wasting Odell Beckham. I know somebody on the show, I think it's Captain Negative, isn't a big fan of Odell Beckham, I've been told.
I am not, but, my friend. I am not.
Yeah, I have been told that. So, the thing with me is I'm tired of wasting our guys in their prime. And granted, we just got Saquon Barkley. But in my opinion, when we're running this playbook and we're running these plays like we have with a traditional style quarterback, it's just going to continue to hurt us. So if we can get someone like Kyler Murray that resembles Russell Wilson that can scramble out, you look at that team, their O-line is terrible every single year, and the receivers are not what you call great, and then Doug Baldwin gets hurt, and they're really not what you call great. And that's why you have a guy like Chris Matthews that becomes Odell Beckham in the Super Bowl. So if you bring in a player like that can run the RPO, that can make plays on his feet and can get guys open, but not to mention he also has a rifle for an arm, it's just going to make good things happen, man. And we haven't had that. We've never had a quarterback like that. So imagine a quarterback like that scrolling out.
I agree with you.
Right?
I know. I agree with you, but do you have any concern? Like, all right, so we draft Kyler Murray. Are we exclusively an RPO offense? Because here's my concern, right? It's not only the height. It's not only the height and the weight, right? Because I think that he's don't take anything away from the kid talent-wise. Phenomenal talent, right? My concern is how that college talent projects at an NFL level with his height and weight, and can he do the same things in college that he did in college in the NFL? And when I watch his tape, I have some concerns about him making progressions in an offense. So going from one read to the other. I see a lot of one read, and I see a lot of making a play. And I have a concern over a 16-game season if he can do that in the NFL. And do you have any concern? Because I don't think you can go exclusive RPO because I don't think his body can take it, despite how talented he is. So do you have any concern with if they go to a mixed type of offense, how he handles those progressions? If they're not going to play him in the first year, much like they would Haskins, and you look like that's going to be the way to go, are you less concerned that way because he has time to learn those progressions?
No, I mean, the way I look at it, man, and this is just how I'm going to give it to you. Exhibit A, Baker Mayfield. That was my guy. You know, I know you said you haven't been following for a long time. I make this claim all the time. I post videos all the time. Literally about a year or a little bit over a year before the draft, I was saying Baker Mayfield was my quarterback one. I mean, I got knocked for it for the longest time with Sam Darnold. And it was the same situation. A lot of people were saying his height, right? He's taller than Kyler Murray, but a lot of people were saying his height and can his erratic play translate into the NFL? And look what happened. The NFL has changed, man. It's different. It's a completely different league. And in my opinion, the traditional style quarterback is starting to become a thing of the past. And that's just how it's going to be in my opinion. So,
do you have any concern with him lasting for 6 games, like just the wear and tear of him being able to take those hits at his height and his weight? We've seen Russell Wilson play hurt. Like, God love him, pretty great quarterback, right? But it's not like he hasn't, alluded it. He hasn't been healthy his whole career. He's had to overcome some injuries. Do you feel like Murray can do that?
I don't really have a concern as far as injuries go with him. I mean, at the end of the day, his height, in my opinion, isn't really what sets him aside as far as if he's going to get hurt or not. That's not it.
Gotcha.
I think it's more weight. And he's already put on 12 pounds in the last, 4 weeks? He's put on 12
beefy, huh?
I did see today he's like over 200 pounds now, right? He's
206. Yeah, and he put on all that weight the minute he committed to football. He put on that much weight. So just think what's going to happen the minute he gets into an NFL team and when they get ready to combine and things like that. So he's more than committed to it, man, and it doesn't concern me. Nope.
Let me ask you one more thing about Murray. Just to the Dan Patrick interview. Any concern about him being in New York? Just some questions that I think anybody would have about the kid after you see that interview, right? I mean, you got to be New York. Yeah. Those responses, dad in the background. Like, I don't need Lonzo Ball here.
Yeah, and I will say, after that whole thing went down, it was concerning. It was especially concerning that his dad was in the audience and he was kind of looking to him like, "Dad, help!" Like that was a little bit concerning. I'm not going to say it wasn't, but keep in mind that was before he came out and publicly admitted and said that he was committing to football. So I think if they were to do that again, I think it would be very different. So I don't hold that against him right now. Gotcha. I do think it was concerning, but he did also publicly say he's getting help physically and through, verbal help for interviews and stuff like that. And I think he most definitely will. So I think the interviews at the Combine will be huge, but I think he'll do great.
Where do you stand on Haskins? What do you think of him?
So a lot of people have me confused on that, man. It's not that I don't like him as a prospect. I don't dislike him as that. I don't dislike him as a person, anything like that. My issue is, and it's very clear, I want a complete and utter mentality and play style change for the Giants. That's why I love Baker Mayfield as well. And I don't think Dwayne Haskins is it, man. Look at what they were saying in the news. It was Stephen A. Smith, and he said, "I view him more as a runner," and it was this big meme. It was a joke. He's not a runner. He's traditional.
Oh, God, no. He's not. He's anything but a runner. He's going to win from the pocket.
And I feel like that's not what we need with the players that we're bringing in, if that makes sense. When you have a guy like Barkley, when you with throwing the ball, we have our running back throwing the ball. Our wide receiver had a longer touchdown pass than Eli Manning did all year. So it's obvious they want to do something with different trick plays, right? So I don't think he's the answer. I think he's just going to be I think my best example I gave was you don't have to rip up the playbook and restart with Dwayne Haskins. With Kyler Murray, you do. And I think we need
Yes. Okay,
That's
I got you. And I totally agree with you there. And I just land on the other side of the coin. I think Kyler Murray is a phenomenal talent. I was high on Baker, too. I had Baker, Darnold, and Rosen like 1A, 1B last year. So
right.
I'm right there. I thought Baker was great. And I actually had Haskins before Herbert even declared. I had Haskins before Herbert. So I've been that guy where people were really looking at me until like maybe a week ago saying, you're crazy with this Haskins guy,
right.
until really his name caught fire. So I just land on the other side of the coin. Like, I'm more of a traditional, like, give me my quarterback making his reads, being cerebral, picking apart the D. I don't want the guy running around because I'm terrified that he's going to get hurt. So I can totally respect what you say, but you want to do the 180 because of how the pieces on the offense are so intriguing, where if you get a guy like that, there's so much you can do offensively where it makes you so dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah, it's a completely different mentality, and it's brand new. So I get what you're saying 100%. You know, it's very traditional style, and I think Haskins will 110% bring you that. He's going to stand in the pocket. He's a big figure, big guy, and he's going to give you that. But he doesn't give you what I've been talking about. So it's definitely a complete split.
It's definitely not. And, it's two totally different players. Yeah, without a doubt.
Completely different, and it's just where you fall on the spectrum. And today they're well, you said you're going to talk about the Gettleman and Shurmur interview, so I won't go into that. But you know, I
no,
think
go ahead.
that,
anything you got to give.
Yeah, I think what the vibe I got off of their interviews was I think Shurmur wants Murray, whatever you want to call him, and Haskins is Gettleman's guy. In my opinion, that's the vibe I get. I think Shurmur wants to run an offense consisting with a lot more speed and a lot more something like that involving Murray, and I think Gettleman wants to go traditional. I think Gettleman has always leaned traditional, and he wants to kind of go by the book standards. He's just he's a Giants guy, if that makes sense. So I think there's going to be a big power struggle there. And I think, in my opinion, Shurmur's got the right mentality here. I think he wants to see a change because he knows it needs to change. He's on the front line.
I got you. Well, what do you know about this Collins situation? What could we at first, everybody thought we were going to tag him. Now, after today, people are reading between the lines and saying they don't think they're going to tag him. Do you know anything? What can you tell us?
Yeah, man. What I was told originally when this whole Justina Anderson thing came out was that it was complete BS. And I really believe that because Landon Collins is an extremely, extremely dramatic person. I mean, it's ridiculous. He likes this stuff. And what I've been told, and now it's out in the media, but I was told this from the jump when this report came out, is that he really does not want the franchise tag. And the vibe I got immediately was that he didn't want it, so he was going to do everything he can to kind of sabotage them giving it to him, if that makes sense. And I think
it did.
That or engage in talks. And I think that's exactly what he did from the jump. And I don't think they're going to reach any type of deal with him. I can't, at this point, I'm getting the vibe that he's going to walk, man. I don't see it happening anymore.
Isn't it what pissed him off, not even the fact that they couldn't come to a number, it's the fact that they didn't even sit down to talk? Like, they didn't even have a conversation yet.
Right. And I think the reason is because he just came off of a big surgery. And what he doesn't, what a lot of people don't understand is, yes, he's been very good. He's been very good his whole career. He's had ups and downs. He had a great year and some, also very good, but not the same. But at the end of the day, he also has had a lot of issues in the media and things like that. So it's not like he's been an A-plus person on and off the field, and they're like, we need to sign this guy now. So it doesn't surprise me that we're here at the end of his contract, and now we're running into these issues. My big problem is that if they weren't going to sit down and talk contract with him, when they had an opportunity to trade him for third-round picks, they should have traded him because now we'll get nothing. And that's my problem. Because if you walk for nothing, that's disgusting. That's my problem.
Disgusting.
Rob,
it's neglect.
Rob, a few of the questions in the comment section is, if Landon Collins would be described as dramatic, how would you describe OBJ?
If Landon Collins can be described, that's a solid question. How would I describe OBJ? I would, I also.
I got a couple of choice words, Rob.
That question was not directed to you, James. That was not directed to you.
I'm going to shut up. I'm not saying anything.
I'm saying this while I'm looking at my 2 Odell Beckham jerseys currently. This is how I look at him. I also view him as dramatic, but I view him as a lot more passion behind him, and I view it as a lot more drive. But I don't see – the problem with Odell is I don't see a big leadership role behind him like I do with someone like Saquon Barkley. So my best way of describing Odell, man, is he's a modern player, if that makes sense. He's very wrapped up in the social media side and all that stuff and how the media portrays him and how he's seen on there and you know what I mean? But he just loves football, man. He loves the game. And the things that people say about him, I promise you would be really mad too. And he's just the heart of our team, bro. I mean, you look at it with the things that are said about this guy. Think about it. If they were even being said about you, and we're not famous, right? You wouldn't like it. And he can't control it. And we have things like Antonio Brown going on, right? But they're still talking about how Odell Beckham doesn't love our team, doesn't want to win. You would look back, you would step back and be like, what are you talking about? Why are you talking about me right now? He's been great. He hasn't had a big media presence. He's been quiet ever since the contract. He humbled up and he grew up. So I'd be pretty pissed off too. So, it gives him a little bit of a diva appeal. And you know what? At the end of the day, he can be whatever he wants as long as he continues to be one of the best wide receivers in football. I'm glad you're here, man.
Rob, you obviously haven't seen our comment section where we get ragged on all the time, so I feel the pain. And I'd also like to...
There you go, man. Hey.
I'd also like to welcome, I think that's Justin on the line. Justin, is that you?
I'm here. I'm on the line. Good to be here.
I'm on the line.
He's
I'm glad you're on
alive.
the line. Justin, got any questions for Rob here? Have you been listening, buddy?
So I was just got on about 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Heard him give his take on, Shurmur versus Gettleman on Landon Collins and on OBJ. And I think that, I guess my question would be, do you think that any quarterback that they would take in the first round, they would view as an asset that they would be willing to trade up to obtain? Or do you think that they're going to take a quarterback or try to take a quarterback from that sixth slot, whoever it may be?
I think I know what he said in the press conference.
Is Rob still there?
Rob might have dropped out.
Yeah, man, I didn't know that was directed at me. I'm sorry. I didn't
Oh,
really get the flow of it yet. I'm
That's
sorry.
you, baby.
Can you,
That's you, baby. You the guest. We were asking you.
I didn't know that was directed at me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're good. I didn't know it was directed at me. I was reading the comments.
Oh, you're good, baby.
Don't get
Sorry,
lost.
can you answer that again?
Be careful when you venture into the comment section. Just be careful.
This show is very organized chaos, Rob. It's organized
Yes.
chaos. Don't worry about it. We're all good.
Sounds good. Man. Can you ask me that again? I apologize for that.
Do you think that either one of the quarterback assets is something the Giants would be willing to trade up from 6 to 1 or 2 to obtain, or do you think that they would want to stay at 6, and really try to get the guy that they value at 6, and if he's not there, make another decision, maybe pass it off until 2020?
Yeah, I look at it as, especially after today, I think they're pretty confident with Eli Manning. I mean, he's going to start. We've all known how they feel about him. He's going to ride his contract out. They feel too bad to cut him regardless of how smart that would be. So, in my opinion, the way I look at it is they're going to let the draft fall into their hands. So, basically what I mean is I don't see them trading up. I don't see them trading down. I think it'll be a situation where if Haskins is their guy and he's there, then they'll grab him. If Murray is there and Haskins is gone and they want him, they'll grab him. But I can't see them being like, oh, the Jags jumped us. We need to jump them. No, I don't think it's that urgent. And I think even today in Gettleman in his press conference, he mentioned the kid from Oregon, the kid from Alabama, the kid from Georgia. They know who's coming next year, and they know this is Eli Manning's last year. So I don't see an urgency in them to need to spring up in the draft and go get it. I think if both the quarterbacks are gone somehow, and their top guy is a linebacker or an offensive tackle, Jonah Williams or whoever, Devin White, whatever, I think they'll take him. I don't think they're going to move anywhere. They're just going to stay put.
They're in a good spot. And if two teams were to go quarterback, for as much as I want Haskins, if two teams were to go quarterback, then you're looking at where those top defensive players, where now you're getting a top 4 you're getting one of those top 4 defensive players. So
Exactly.
if that was to happen, for as much as I want the quarterback, that's not a bad situation to be in, because you're going to walk away with a hell of a football player on the defensive side of the ball. Do you see any chance? Or any validity to this Rosen thing? Do you think this is all smoke? Do you think that they would really take him at 10 and then trade him the following season?
No. The way I look at this, man, the problem with it is I think that they're trying to create their own speculation at this point. Their coach came out and blatantly said he's our guy, and then their GM comes out today and then says, oh, he's our guy for now. They're doing it on purpose. The obvious pick, and who I think they'll take, and who I think they're absolutely brain dead if they don't take, is Nick Bosa. So you got to look at it as Josh Rosen. They traded for. They picked him. He's their guy. I mean, was he great? No, but it was his first year. They're not going to go and trade him. It makes no sense, and it's just trying to create some type of speculation. It doesn't make sense. And if he does get traded, he would end up on the Patriots, and he would be great, and it would piss me off. So I hope not.
Do you think if he was really on the board, do you think that we would even? Do you think that Gettleman picks up the phone?
No, not for Josh Rosen. Not with that attitude. Not with that mentality. He would absolutely get eaten alive in New York. I mean, it would be an absolute mob fest for this guy, and he would derail in about a year. So no, Gettleman knows that. As I said, he's traditional. He's very careful. He will not pick up Josh Rosen. It ain't gonna happen.
Skill-wise, where would you rank him amongst Haskins, Rosen, and Murray?
Where would I rank Rosen between those 3?
Yeah.
I would probably put him at number 3, to be completely straight with you. And I'm not a Haskins guy. Granted, he has a year under his belt in the NFL, and that's a big advantage. I don't know, man. I didn't, and I still don't. I don't see it in Josh Rosen. I don't think he loves football, man. I never did. I don't see it in him. I would put Murray, Haskins, and then him. And like I said, I'm not a Haskins guy. So that's speaking pretty low of this guy. I don't know. I think he's just a really spoiled, privileged person, and I think he does not love football at all. And I think at the end of the day, I can't speak. At the end of the day, I don't think he'll pan out, and I definitely don't think he's worth the first-round pick for another team. It makes no sense.
Do you like any of the quarterbacks late?
The only one. I mean, are you saying Daniel Jones is projected by top 20?
I won't say not. I won't say not because I just look at everything. I'm very selfish. I look at everything only from my perspective, and the only guy I would take in this first round is I just like Haskins. Murray scares me too much. So but the other guys I put everybody else in a. It's those two, and then a different class, everybody else. And out of everybody else, the Locks and Shurmurs and whoever, anybody there that intrigues you, Daniel Jones, or are you all in on one of the other 2 guys, or that's it, or punt to 2020?
Right. Yeah. The thing I look at right now is first off, just to put it on the record, I don't like Drew Lock at all. I think he's got bust written all over him. So I don't. I
knew I liked you, buddy.
Yeah, I think he is
gaining points.
So personally, for me, if I had to, believe it or not, and a lot of people, do I think we'd pick him? No. Do I think he'll be a starter? No. But I'm a big fan. I've been to a lot of Auburn games. I've watched him a lot of times. I like Jared Stidham. Excuse me. I'm a big fan of him. I think he'll be pretty decent in the NFL if he gets a chance. I like him. And another one to keep your eye on is Ryan Finley out of NC State. I think he will also translate really well. But as far as being in love with him, nah. For me, it's Murray or bust. It's Murray or wait till next year. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Any chance they fall in love with Baby Shurmur? God, no. Please tell me no.
I think his dad will fall in love with him, but I think they'll all tell him to.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that his dad come maybe a best player available. Some of the quarterbacks are off the board. You're in a position to take them, and then all of a sudden, Dad creeps into Gettleman's ear, come around 4 with some of those picks, and he's like, "Hey, give me my boy."
That's not.
And then all of a sudden, we're in Shurmur hell.
James, that's not
like the Queen Griffin situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can see that happen and be like, "Hey guys, my son's here," kind of winking at him, nodding, nudging Gettleman a little bit. Look, that's my son right there. Pick him. So we'll see.
We'll see.
James, that's not like the Giants to waste a third or fourth round pick on a quarterback. They would never do that.
No, not
those are valuable.
Not the Senior Bowl MVP. What are you talking about?
Those just would.
Is there any? You think there's any chance that if things don't go their way through the first 6 picks, like that, they would consider moving back?
What do you mean if the quarterbacks are gone?
Well, no, I'm not even that. Like, so if things don't break their way, let's say the quarterbacks are a smokescreen, right? And let's say they don't even like them, and let's say you got defensive players off the board, and like, to me, here's my thing: if you're not going to get Haskins, and then I'll flip it to you. So in your case, like, you don't get Murray, right? It's Murray or bust.
Right.
So if you don't get Murray in that top pick or those top picks, do you find a way to accumulate picks either by trading back at 6 or moving some picks later in the draft to get some picks for 2020 to be able to move up and go get your guy next year?
Well, as much as I'd love to say yes, you have to think this is the Giants. They could have traded Landon Collins and started that already. So as smart as that would
you're
be,
right, man.
No. As smart as that situation would be, no, they would sit there, and if a kicker was their top guy on the board, if they found a kicker, Sebastian Janikowski, and they loved him at number 6, they're pulling that damn trigger. So no, they're not smart enough to think about the future, and they ain't gonna do it. So no, they're
He's dead right too.
Well,
you can't even argue with it.
The other thing about that too is, and we talked about this when Gettleman was hired last year, but when you hire Dave Gettleman and he's in his early to mid-60s, I mean, Dave Gettleman is approaching every season in a win-now mentality. He's trying to find some sort of magic elixir that will allow him to win football games this year. Now, but he also knows, and I think it was pretty apparent in the press conference, that there are other holes in other areas on this team that need to be addressed. So I don't, like, in terms of a premium pick, like the 6th pick, when you can get an elite talent, even if it's not a quarterback, like you said, James, if the Raiders and the Jaguars trade up, or they take quarterbacks from the Raiders take quarterback from their spot, and our quarterback isn't there, that we're not in love with, I think that Gettleman's going to see an opportunity to get an elite playmaker at some other position, and maybe just try to roll the dice with what he has. Because
I agree with you.
We said it last year, but we went through hell this year, and we went through hell last year to get the 2nd pick last year and the 6th pick this year. So you got to get something for that is tangible right away, or the fan base in New York is going to skewer you.
Yeah, they're going to storm the castle.
Well, no, you see, but that's the thing, dude. Like, for as much as I want to storm the castle, like, if I can see that there was a plan to address the quarterback position, because I'm just of the mindset of that you can have all the toys and in the world, and a Case Keenum is not going to get you over the hump. Like, you need a quarterback, and if I can see the plan, knowing that my roster isn't good enough to win next year, and you told me that you're going to trade back to accumulate a couple of more picks and maybe an additional pick for next year, then it says to me, okay, the pick next year says, all right, they get it. And they know that if they can't get the guy this year, they're going to have to get the guy next year. Eli's coming back this year anyway. You're going to play him. All right, well, recognize the problem. Get me some picks in 2020 so that I can move up and go get my guy there. I think the fan base is smart enough to go, okay, there's a plan to go get the quarterback. And I think you can sell that. But to just, like, not trading Landon Collins and doing that stuff, it says, like Rob was saying, you just know they're not going to do it. If a kicker or a punter was number 1 on their board, they would take them. And it's the New York Giants. It's the hell that we live for picking this franchise.
Here's where they are. Here's where they are with Landon Collins. The fact that they didn't trade him means that they they'd like to see him there long term.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way to accomplish that they're going to try and follow that playbook. And the fact remains that, listen, Landon Collins can squawk about the franchise tag all he wants, but the franchise tag is $11.25 million. He made $10 million on his rookie contract in 4 seasons. So he can squawk about the franchise tag all he wants, but he's going to end up making more money this year if we put him on that than he has in the last 4 years combined. So he might skip camp, but you can bet your ass he's going to play. Now,
unless they just don't franchise him and they let him walk.
Well,
Which,
if he skips camp, he's not going to play well, and that's going to affect his capability to get a contract down the road. I mean, he didn't play well last year.
if you break down what Gettleman's numbers were, he said they were about 25 under the cap, and he wanted to keep around $8 million free in case of injuries or if they had to add someone late. So if you're doing the math,
they're only playing with like $17 million, all right, or something like that. I think I saw like 17
right.
to $20 million is like what they're really playing with.
So if you're doing the math, it doesn't look like he's going to tag him.
But they got to restructure some guys. Like Vernon has to get restructured. Like
Vernon needs to get cut. Is what he needs to do.
Well, there you go, Rob. There you go. I mean, I don't know why last year when they were saying fire sale, I don't know why they didn't go all in and guys like Jenkins and guys like Vernon like just acquire assets and get yourself picks to be able to move up and go get the guys you want that are going to be impact players in this draft. And they just didn't do that. There's like that you could have did it with Collins. They could have did it with, and they said they did it with Apple. They did it with Jenkins, with Snacks, and then then they just stop. And it's just weird, man. It's just so odd the way that like the decisions that are being made, like the Jonathan Stewarts and just shit that just doesn't add up, man.
And the Damon Harrison, we get rid of him for a late round pick and we keep Vernon, who's a stat pattern in the last game of the year. It's disgusting, man.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
It's just unbelievable.
Hey,
it's funny to me too, man.
My fear is that Vernon did just enough, right? That when you look at his numbers, which is what they're going to do, and you don't look at what happened on the field, when you look at the numbers and you say, he was injured for the first 6 games, he played the last 10 games or whatever, and he had 7 sacks. Like, for a team that had 0 pass rush, they're going to put more stock in that than probably they should. Because when I look at the games, on my DVR, because I saved them all, the games that I see him play, he was routinely out of position, and he was getting blown up by playing outside of his responsibility, and he was a target. And there were a few times that he lost his temper. Listen, he's not an asset for the team, but because his contract is an albatross, and he showed out for the final 5 games of the season, I think he sticks around. It kills me, but I think that's what's happening.
But, yeah, no, that's exactly it, man. And I think the biggest problem with the Giants is they like to jump on everything that's like, when it's the off season, when we need something, they'll pay, like when they believe we need it, they'll pay or give up anything for it. It's just like the quarterback situation. If you've been following me for a while, and any of my people will tell you, I've been saying we need a quarterback for the last 4 years. And we've 3-4 years, and Odell's the one that earned Eli Manning his contract. So the problem with me is we passed up on all these franchise quarterbacks that were obvious. I mean, we could have got Patrick Mahomes. We could have got Mitchell Trubisky. We could have, if we were going to make a move up for a franchise quarterback and give it all up, we would have already had him and got our picks back by now. Problem is, now everyone wants to wake up and act like they're woke and say we need a quarterback. So in my opinion, that's why everyone's jumping on Dwayne Haskins like he's the reincarnation of Jesus Christ, because they're like, oh, shit, we need a quarterback. We need it right now. So with that being said, this is the best one available, so let's take him. Like, no, even if he was a bum, even if there was only Daniel Jones, who's not a bum, but even if he was the only guy, right, they would still jump on him. and all they'd want is Daniel Jones because they're like, oh, Eli's done now, so we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback. That's what they'll do. That's what's happening right now, and that's why he's being hyped up the way he is. It's a good player, but he's not. He's not the guy that he's not Carson Wentz. He's not Baker Mayfield. He's not Jared Goff. He's none of them.
Here came a good question in the comment section. Hold on, from Frank on Facebook. Do you guys think if they can't move Vernon, if they should move him back to defensive end, which position do you think he would play better or he would be better suited in?
No,
in this outside linebacker, in my opinion.
In this system, he's an outside linebacker.
Yeah, in this system.
Keep him at outside linebacker?
Yeah. I mean, he's when he's not hurt, you can put him there.
But you would like to put him on the bench, on someone else's bench.
I'd rather put him on the trash, in the trash. But yeah, if he's not, nursing some type of injury, then yeah, throw him at outside linebacker and tell him to go hit a quarterback twice at the end of the year in stat pads.
It's basically what happened. Let's see what else is going on. I'm strolling through the comment section as we are. Gettleman also in his press conference said, if the player's there now at the position now, get him and not wait till 2020. So he basically told everyone it's this year.
Well, and the other thing that he said was towards the end of his press conference, he said, it might have even been Shurmur. I listened to them back to back. But one of the press conferences said, if you have a chance to bring in a guy with Eli and have him sit in the room with Eli, you have an elite talent, that guy's going to learn a lot from Eli. He's going to learn how to operate in the meeting rooms and with the media. And so, he said, I think everybody wants to see that, right? So that to me says, if we had our druthers, there's a guy in here that we'd like to take, but we don't know if he's going to be in a spot where we're going to be able to pull the trigger. And so if that's the case, then they are willing to go into next year, but I don't think that that's their preferred, path.
Right. I don't with the news, if it is correct, I believe it is. The NFL channel put it out that Foles is not going to be franchise tagged. So you throw him into the mix of a team that needs a quarterback probably won't be moving up to get it. So most likely,
that marks out Jacksonville.
Right. One of the two main quarterbacks will probably be there at 6. Unless some craziness happens. So I don't think the Giants necessarily have to move. It might be an inner struggle where one of the guys between Gettleman and Reese, they don't agree on the top prospect and he might not be there, but they might have to take their number 2 guy.
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm probably in a scenario where, I'm intrigued by the potential of Kyler Murray, and I like kind of what was said earlier that if we take him, it requires a change to the offense, and so we're basically going to blow the whole thing up and start over. And I think that to a certain extent that might be beneficial. It might help Shurmur coach a little bit better because he's not tied into the current system, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to sell tickets. It's going to be entertaining. And I think Kyler Murray is the home run pick, right? He's the guy, to continue the baseball analogy, he's the guy that could take the Giants, if he hit.
Can I play devil's advocate just for a second? Let me just throw something into the mix, right? So you take Kyler Murray, right? You got him in your offense. 6 weeks into the season, Eli goes down for the year. You changing your whole offense in the middle of the season?
Well, so listen, here's the thing. Like, that's ultimately, that's one of the reasons why I don't think that it happens. But, listen, if they take Kyler Murray.
It's like if you're going to take Kyler Murray, just get rid of Eli and let the kid play.
They're working on that offense. They're working on that offense that Kyler's going to run from the day he gets picked, right? They're at least thinking about it. They're making it happen. I mean, we haven't we're not that far removed from when Deshaun Watson came in for the Texans in the middle of the season. What did he come in, game 3 or game 4? You know? And their quarterback before that was what? P.J. Yates, I believe. And so, you know, and
that's good.
Bill O'Brien
Ryan Mallett
picked up an entire offense. So it can be done. It can be done, but you have to have a coach that has the ability to make that happen. And, you know, I think that at the end of the day, the Giants are an old-school franchise, and I worry about if they have the foresight to really not only have the balls to take Murray, but also understand that if they do take Murray, you know, they're not going to be running a classic, you know, NFL offense. And I think that that's something that they might be a little gun-shy to do.
So, right now, James, in what Jay Petroselli and BBU Giants said, that's exactly what the Baltimore Ravens did. They switched offense in the middle of the season once Flacco went down and Murray, oh my God, and Jackson came in. He's like, why can't we do that?
Yeah. I'm not saying we can't. It's not usually a recipe for success.
Listen, and, you know, the run first quarter.
But I would much rather if you're gonna take Kyler Murray, like turn the reins over. Like go one indy.
I will tell you something.
Just go. Like cut Eli, save the $17 million, restructure Vernon's contract, give yourself some room where you can manipulate, you can do some things and add some talent to this roster, whether that's Collins or not, and you know, commit, have some balls and some conviction, and turn the page.
Right.
Exactly. Dude, that's my problem. That's my issue too, man. It's like you're putting an $18 million cap on. You've blatantly said, right? You've made yourself as transparent as you could be. You said this. We know this is his last year, right? And then you go out and say you draft a quarterback. So you're spending $18 million on 1 year for a 1 year rental. It's like Kawhi Leonard, a 1 year rental, right? And you know it.
Yep.
But the problem with that is you know you're turning the reins over, but then you let a guy that would have won Defensive Player of the Year walk away. When you could have spent that on him, you still had plenty more to build the team around your new quarterback, around your new system, and start going forwards instead of backwards. But instead, we want Eli Manning for 1 more year at 18. That's Jadeveon Clowney money. That's D Ford money. That's Tyrann Mathieu money. That's Darrell Williams money. That's Jawan James. But instead, we're putting Eli Manning back for 1 more year to probably not be that good, potentially draft his new guy that's going to start over him, when we can just throw him in there, start him for a year. We're going to probably suck anyways, let's be real. And then he has a year under his belt. But instead, we want to pay Eli Manning $18 million for 1 year. I don't get that, man. It's the most Giants thing I've ever seen. $18 million.
You can blame that on.
But they won't pay Manning Collins.
You can blame that on. You can blame that on the response with the whole Eli and McAdoo thing, because listen, here's what
Don't get me started.
The way that they're handling Eli now tells me that they are afraid to right now to go out in the media and say we're looking for a replacement quarterback, whether he plays this year or next year. He'll be playing in the next 2 years. And the reason that they're afraid to do that is because when Eli was benched for Geno Smith, it caused a shitstorm in the media. And they don't want to deal with the Mannings, and they don't want to deal with the response from the fan base that is loyal to Eli. And so they are going to say all of the things that they need to say, hey, we have Eli. Right now, he is the starter, which is factually accurate. Right now, his replacement is not on the roster. It's not like they're going to start Alex Tanny or Kyle Willett week 1 unless Eli gets hurt in camp. But behind the scenes, the gears are working. And I think that the pick is Haskins. And the reason that I think that is because at the very end of his press conference, Gettleman said that his consigliere, right? That's a word that James would know because he's in the mafia, is our boy Ernie Accorsi. And Ernie Accorsi has a more classic vision of what a quarterback is. So if Ernie Accorsi is in Dave Gettleman's ear, they're not taking Kyler Murray. They're taking Dwayne Haskins, or they're folding for next year. That's what's happening. And so when I heard that, then I realized that all that talk about size and sometimes the measurables don't match up, that was just a lot of sweet talk to try and drum up some of their own interest in Kyler Murray, maybe to try to throw some teams off the scent. But they're going for a classic quarterback if Ernie Accorsi has any say in what's happened.
I don't think he has a say in what's going on. He just might have been, just talking football, basically.
Well, let me throw this out there, right? So I'm on Twitter just scrolling around, seeing if anything new popped up. And one thing, I didn't get a chance because work was just insane today. So I didn't get a chance to hear all of the press conferences in full. So Vacchiano tweeted out a while ago, Dave Gettleman not as willing to commit to Eli Manning in 2019 as Pat Shurmur will. Is there any chance that maybe behind the scenes, like Gettleman saying, hey, you know what, Pat, say the right thing. You're the head coach. If I'm going to do anything and I'm going to move on right away, I'll be the bad guy.
I mean,
I don't see it.
It's possible, but I mean, think about the logistics. Think about the logistics of what you would have to do if they're moving
you cut
on.
Him and save $17 million.
Right, but if they're moving on from him, they're cutting him, and if they cut him, they have to bring in a veteran right now, because again, they're not starting Alex Tanny and Kyle Willett. Those are wasted seat fillers at this point. So you have to cut Eli Manning. A part of that's going to be dead money on your cap.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay top dollar for Foles or Bridgewater for whatever their market is. And then you have to take a rookie anyway, because Foles or Bridgewater is not the long-term answer. Just like Kurt Warner wasn't the long-term answer when they drafted Eli Manning. So I just don't see it. Like, it's possible if they're really pissed off at Eli behind the scenes and just have a really good poker face, but I think they have too much money invested in Eli, and what they would have to reinvest in 2 new quarterbacks to fill that position, they're just not going to do it, because they have that secret desire to try and win now. This is not – Dave Gettleman doesn't have 10 years to make this happen, and that's something that, as a Giants fan and as the Giants front office and Pat Shurmur, when you come in as coach, you know that. you know that every year you're gearing up to try and win as many games as you can because your GM is going to be retired in 5 years anyway.
5 years.
Wow.
All right, let's see. You guys need to do your research on Daniel Jones. Eye emoji from Misha.
I've done my research on Jones. I don't like him.
Yeah. That person's been making some wild claims. I've been keeping an eye on it, man. I'm like, gosh. I've been watching it, man. Mika, I don't know. She has been saying some serious things right there, man. I'm like, all right.
Daniel Jones, man. I see Dave Brown.
Yeah. I see Eli Manning with a little bit of wheels.
From Captain Negative Fanboy, Gettleman is a wizard, so he's going to live as long as he wants.
I'm still fascinated that there's actually somebody.
Oh, man. It is hysterical, I must say that. James dropped out. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Who else is trolling?
I'm keeping an eye on things. Yeah, there's some trolls, man.
Yeah,
Lord.
I told you. It's
Eli
dangerous in
Manning
there.
is a good quarterback. This person is really some opposition to us, man. Lord. Eli Manning is a good quarterback. Mm-hmm.
We know he is a good quarterback. Elite. Two-time Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, he was good. I remember those days. So was the NFL. Used to be good too. But times have changed.
Welcome back, James.
Eli Manning used to be a beast, bro.
Yeah, he was. He was dynamite. He's one of my
Back when you could
all
hit the
time.
quarterback, man, he loved taking hits, bro. He was fun to watch. But now if you had to mentor a quarterback, he would teach him how to fall down without getting an injury.
You know, see, I said that he got outside and didn't feel the pressure and he fumbled or something like that. And I was like, no, he threw it away and it was a pick. And Eli doesn't take the sack anymore, something along that line. Like take the loss of the yard. And another Giant was like, oh, you guys don't even know what he's talking about. That wasn't even a blindside sack. And I took a screenshot of the picture. I was like, yeah, that's coming off the left side. That's his blind side. He should be able to feel the pressure, take the sack, and not scramble to run and throw a pick. Those are the things that we've lost in Eli Manning. Back in the day, there was 13 people on him. He still would escape and make a throw. You don't get that anymore. And I don't expect him to do that anymore. If I was a vet, I wouldn't want to take the huge hits anymore.
Then go sit down.
No, we're talking stuffy nose breath.
Then,
I don't know what that means.
What happened?
I'm talking with stuffy nose breath, whatever that means. Love that. Sure. I might have some chip breath, but I don't know what stuffy nose breath is.
Sniff, sniff.
The fans are great.
This is exactly why you don't get lost in the
I know all about it, dude. With my Twitter, man, you guys should see. I mean, I got about 6,000 people on there that just they give it to me. We have a good time. I know all about it.
Yeah, it's so fun.
All about it.
The best is James troll on Twitter, and he has troll accounts on YouTube, which still blows my mind.
Oh man, that's funny. No, yeah, people are ruthless on Twitter, bro. They're ruthless, man. Blow your nose. My nose is fine, man. I'm good. Oh my gosh. You want some chips? You got some chips if you want them.
Edward Kenny can't burn and be productive. I think we've seen what he can do, right? He can almost get to the quarterback pretty frequently. Giants have failed Eli for several years now. I would agree with that.
No, man. You know what I wanted to address, though? I was curious about y'all's opinion on it. So looking back, you know how Ben McAdoozle he wanted Patrick Mahomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all think that he was as big of a problem as everyone made him out to be, man? Because looking back, I don't know, man. He was the only one that had the balls to take out Eli Manning. And I'm just saying, I don't know, man. I give him a lot
Rob, let me just say, I knew, Marco, I'm sorry. I tried to keep it clean. Rob, I knew I fucking liked you, bro. I knew it, man. But let me tell you something. Not that I'm not a huge McAdoo fan. I personally think McAdoo got the job because of the fact of his relation. I think it was ironic how he lost his job. I think he got his job because as an offensive coordinator, Eli had two pretty damn good seasons. So I think that led to McAdoo being the guy. We were so concerned that McAdoo was going to go to Philadelphia. Remember? Mm-hmm. Right? So, right? So everybody was like, oh, my God, McAdoo's going to go to Philadelphia. We got to make McAdoo a coach. Right?
I was pissed. I like Hugh Jackson, too. I think everyone was interested in Hugh Jackson.
But I thought he would have been a pretty. I didn't really want McAdoo. I thought they gave McAdoo the job specifically because of his relationship with Eli Manning. I had a problem with that. So I didn't have a problem with them going to even Geno, because I knew I was charged. I knew Geno wasn't the answer. I just know Geno was the backup all year, and if you're in an NFL locker room, you got the backup has to get a start there. Even if your natural progression is to go to Webb, he was inactive all year. So you up his practice reps, you get him going for a week or two, you bring him in the game in Dallas and at home against Dallas, and you let him ride out and for the rest of the season, and you see what you got before you got in the last year's draft. I thought it was a wise decision. And I think that our problem is not Gettleman, and it's not Shurmur, and it's not McAdoo. I think the problem, and not Reese. I think the problem is John Mara. I think the problem is John Mara, and I don't think he has any friggin' clue what he's doing. And my concern, even with the hiring of Gettleman and Shurmur, was that did they really do their due diligence in finding a GM that was better for the long term? Or was it more of an interview process that was like, hey, is Eli Manning your guy? And if you said no, then you were out. And if you said yes.
Man. It's like a hierarchy. It's terrible.
Yeah, right?
Eli Manning runs the Giants. Like, I swear to God, he does. Like,
Rob, there you go, buddy.
It reminds me of what's going on, man. It reminds me of what's going on in the news right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, not to bring up politics, but it's like, I'm just saying, like, it's like if you don't do what I want type thing, you know what I mean? I'm not even trying to bring it up like that. I'm just saying. So it's
no, you're right. Yeah, I got you.
I look at it this way. It's like when the Giants, like you just said, I think ownership's a huge problem too. I've posted so many videos on that. And the way I look at it is McAdoo was like a cancer to them. They were like, oh my God, you're taking out our golden boy. Like now everyone hates you. So finally,
didn't McAdoo want to move up and go get Mahomes?
Yes.
Didn't McAdoo want to go get Mahomes?
That was my point. That's what I was saying. Wanted Mahomes. So my problem with this whole thing is I seriously feel like it's one of those situations where the owners do not do anything. They don't do anything except for talking to the media about politics, right? So then you come down to the point where it's like they saw McAdoo take out their
Robert Kraft,
and they saw it.
Or if you're Robert Kraft, get a hand job.
The problem with that is I look at it like they took out his golden boy, you know what I mean? And they saw how upset the fans were. So finally Mara, does something. And that's disgusting to me that's what it takes for our owner to step in and do something. Like he watched. It
was always the Giants' way to not do something.
Mara didn't step in and do something. Mara did nothing. He let Eli Manning get benched. If he didn't want Eli Manning to get benched, he would have just fired him. And kept Eli Manning in.
Here's the screwed up part of the whole situation, and I didn't curse, Marco, so give me points for that one.
And by the way,
the messed up part.
I'm in total agreement with both of you, but it's ridiculous.
Here's the messed up. The messed up part of the whole situation. I forgot what I was going to say. I totally forgot where I was going with Mara. I'm so infuriated by the whole goddamn franchise that I forgot what I. There's so many things going through my brain.
So let's revisit the timeline. Gettleman. Oh my God, I'm screwing it all.
Here's what I was going to say. It was Mara's goddamn idea to take a look at the other guys.
Right.
It was Mara's idea. It was reported that Mara said to Reese and McAdoo, like, hey, when are we going to see the other guys? And they were like, we've been thinking about it already. Then they make the move, and you throw them under the goddamn bus? Like, what the hell is going on?
The timeline was McAdoo got fired first, and then Reese got fired later, right? He didn't do them both.
I believe so. I don't even remember.
McAdoo went first, Reese went after. Yep.
And that. Right, and Reese wanted Evan Ingram, and McAdoo wanted to trade that pick to go get Mahomes. That's where like the fall started.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's terrible, man. But Captain Negative, I got a question for you, man.
Go ahead, baby.
All right, man. Hey, I have a buddy. He y'all brought up his comment earlier. He's got to know, man, and I want to know. So what's the deal with Odell, man? What's the deal? What don't you like about him? I'm curious. I got to know.
It's not here.
Here's my thing, and I'll be as nice about this. I'll be as nice about this. I'm gonna Justin. I'm gonna explode. You know me. I'm gonna explode.
Hey, you cheer for him when he scores, though. You know it. Come on now.
Well, here's the thing. All right. I do cheer for him because he's a Giant, right? So I'm always gonna cheer for the Giants.
So different. Your tone is so different with this.
No. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Let me finish.
Who's this guy?
We're going to build up a little bit. Let me build it up a little bit. Okay? I'm going to say what I've always said.
Your name isn't Captain Platitudes. It's Captain Negative.
Dave, from day one about Odell. From day one about Odell, I've said that that's fucking right. Go get in line. So from day one, I said about Odell Beckham that the only person that can stop him talent-wise is Odell. I've never seen a wide receiver with as much talent, and I remember watching Jerry Rice before. So I talent-wise, it was never an issue with Odell. Here's my problem. Okay, to me, I don't give a shit about a player. Like, I don't care about individual players. I don't care about stats. I don't care about highlights. I don't care. Like, did we get a W? Like, at the end of the day, did we get a W? And to me, those colors, what I grew up with, Giants pride, shut up, talk is cheap, play the game, means something, right? And if it was one incident over the course of 4 to 5 years, I can live with it. If it was just the contract and that bullshit, and he just said, hey, listen, with the injuries, I still want my money, blah, blah, blah. If it was just the injuries and the contract, I could respect that. You're a player, you want to get paid, whatever. It's not about that. Here's what it's about. It's about the pissing like a dog. It's about the dance off after you miss the game on Sunday on a Tuesday night at a club and being on page 6 in the New York Post. It's about spearing Josh Norman. It's about 3 head coaches, 2 general managers, both owners, sitting you down and having conversations with you about what the expectations are of you. And it's you repeatedly spitting in each one of their faces with these little things that keep popping up, with the instances on the sideline, with the proposing to the net, with the getting smacked by the net, with how many, the hole in the wall, banging your head off the wall, showing up to Green Bay, being on the field with your shirt off after being on a boat a week before, all over social media with people on the boat talking about they're doing Adderall with 2 other you moron receivers. Meanwhile, people are telling you to be a leader. So my thing is and then you wanna after the video comes out of you and the fucking video came out. It didn't happen 3 years ago. The video came out. It was actually him smoking a blunt, which I don't give a shit about. You're a football player, smoke a blunt, have a blast. I smoked 3 today. Awesome. Okay, have a blast. But you want to keep it on fucking social media? You want to have people around you that maybe won't be cutting up lines right next to you when you're about to be maybe the highest paid wide receiver that's ever played the goddamn game? You want to have some respect for the colors that you wear, for the people that pay your paycheck? Some. And then you want to be a Boy Scout until you get paid, and then you want to go on TV with Lil Wayne and make everybody look like assholes. So it's not about the talent at all. It's about the brain. It's about his brain. That's my problem with him. That's my problem with him. And if it was just one thing, fine. I can live with one thing. But it's like a fucking boxing match. And it's like you can't get through to the guy. Like you can't talk to a brick fucking wall. Like you can't hit that guy. You can't get him. But meanwhile, this guy is just landing every fucking jab. No roundhouses, no uppercuts. He's not throwing knockout blows. But boy, is he just jabbing you. Jab, jab, wow. Jab. 5 years.
And there's your summary.
And that was still restrained.
What I will say is, with all due respect, I completely disagree. But what I will say is, and the same thing I just told my friend who asked, he said he's been commenting, he wants you to see it. What I will say is, out of all people that talk shit about Odell that don't like him, I will give it to you, no cap, you backstall him up with a lot of examples straight off the book. So I will say that you did back it up. I understand. I respect it. I can see why you don't like him. So you know what? I
agree to disagree.
But if there's one person that I'll respect that doesn't like him, I'll give it to you. You had your reasons. Now, I will say, too, when he's scoring and stuff, I know you're cheering. But I get why
here's what I equal that to, okay? And these guys this year, so just to give you a little insight, I was a huge dick this year, right? And these guys hated me all season long, okay? Last year I was all against the Barkley pick. And again, had nothing to do with Barkley's talent. Love Saquon Barkley as a talent. It had nothing to do with it. It was more I wanted the quarterback or trade back to get some assets because I thought the roster was bad, right? Long story short, we don't take them. So this year I did a lot of saying, hey guys, I was right. So these guys hated me all fucking season long.
That's
so
correct.
I didn't deal with that shit.
Factually correct.
Right. That's how I got the nickname Captain Negative. Before this, I was Captain Positive. I was all about let's win. So like the Odell thing, man, it's just a series of different things that just happen over this course of time. That just makes you sour on him. It just makes you sour on him. And
he's also. Can I just jump in? Let's be honest. You're also really mad that when we were in Atlanta and we saw him at the NFL Experience filming Double Dare, he didn't respond when you shouted out to him from the front row.
Well, we said Odell. He turned around. He didn't say anything. He turned back, and I said, what did I say?
You said, we wasted the money when we paid you, or something along those lines.
Yeah. It runs deep over here.
All right, well,
I was there. I know because I was there.
God damn.
Hey man, I'm an addition by subtraction guy. Like sometimes you have to get rid of the mouths so that you can win. And people, I remember everybody telling me that I was nuts when I told them the best thing that happened to that team was that Tiki Barber was gone. And they said, where are we going to get the offense from? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And you lost Tiki and you lost Shockey. You lost two mouths. And what happened? You won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it happens.
So sometimes in football, like you can lose that. And also here's the other thing, Rob, is I saw teams win with Lionel Manuel, Bobby Johnson, Phil McConkey, Mark Ingram, Stephen Baker. Like
it's a different game though.
Different game, but I still believe that if the quarterback is right, that he makes guys around him better. And if you build your team with a solid running game, a good quarterback, and a really good defense, that you don't need the diva wide receiver, the superstar wide receiver, the superstar running back to be able to put a trophy in the case. And I just have a different mindset on how to try to put one in there. But in the end, we all want the same goddamn thing.
I hear that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I respect it. You know what I mean? I think at the end of the day, too, like I said, I mean, I started this account in 2015, man, and I said from the jump, Odell Beckham is the only reason that Eli Manning got his contract. And does that mean that has to do with him off the field? No, I just mean on the field. I don't think anyone can say, regardless of the fact that Odell Beckham is not one of the most, if not the most, talent-wise, just pure talent-wise, best wide receiver in the NFL. I mean, his athleticism and the way he plays is incredible. He's held back by the quarterback and the offense. And I think that all starts, like I just said, with the nucleus, and I think that's the quarterback. When you have a quarterback like Eli Manning, he can't move. He's not a modern-day quarterback, so you look at that, it restrains everyone. Evan Ingram runs a 4-3. He can't be used like he runs a 4-3 because he has to worry about his quarterback getting sacked in 2 seconds. And everyone wants to lie and cry and act like our O-line is the biggest problem. Per next-gen stats, it was actually he had one of the better O-lines as far as time in the pocket goes. There was a lot of quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Ben Roth, a lot of guys that had less time in the pocket than him. Believe it or not, go look it up. It's on next-gen stats. So look at it this way. The quarterback is the problem. I've been saying that for God knows how long. You know, he won us our Super Bowls. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. You're holding this entire team back, and you're also taking our money and making it so we can't move forward after you. And he knows that.
I'll take it a step further.
He knows that. That's why he put a no-trade clause in his contract, because he knows that.
Yeah.
And that's what pisses me off, because everyone literally – he's got the team by the freaking neck, dude, and everyone knows it, and it's disgusting. It's terrible.
I got to tell you, one of the things that attracts me about Haskins is I salivate with the idea of him hitting guys in stride instead of guys having to come across the middle and the ball being 8 feet above their head or behind them and low. That's one of the reasons I just see like my green bells go off when I see Haskins in this offense with these weapons and his ability to make reads and put the ball in the right spot and anticipate and throw in the windows, and with these wide receivers and these weapons, I think he could be really. I think he would be good in that. But I also see how Murray. I also see the explosiveness if they had Murray as well. It's just a different type of game. And I'll tell you, in reference to Odell scoring and cheering for him and shit like that, like he's a Giant. I'm always going to cheer for the Giants. And here's what I liken it to, right? Like, so I told these guys during the season, even though I was gloating about how bad we were, because I told everybody how bad we were going to fucking be. And then we were announcing the games live, which was really fun. We were doing the games live, doing play-by-play for the fans that we have. And it was really fun. And these guys on the podcast asked me, how can you be so positive and cheer for them during the game and then come on and say this stuff and blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know what it's like? I said, here's what it's like. It's sort of like when you have that experience with a lovely lady, where maybe she's not the top choice that you would have, but you know what? The time and the place are right? So you take the lovely lady back to her place or your place, whatever's more convenient, and you have a very nice time with the lovely lady, and you're into it. You're having a blast. Everything is really, really good. You're having a good time. And then there's that climax. And after the climax, what's every guy thinks sometimes? Oh, God, I shouldn't be here right now.
What did I do?
So that's what. How do I get out of where I am right now? Oh my God, why did I even do this? This was a huge mistake. I don't even like bowling. What did I go bowling with this chick for? That's where I am. That's where I am in reference to the Odell thing. It's like, yes. Oh God, just don't piss like a dog. Did you have to piss like a dog? Just go celebrate. What did you have to propose to the fucking net? Like really? Like this? Just go sit down. Like just go hug your teammates or something. So that's what it's like. There you go.
No, I mean that's I mean that's funny, man. I mean it works. You know what I mean? Like I said, at the end of the day, to me, I love him as a player. I love him as a person, and I think he gets really unfairly treated. I mean, the way I look at it, too, like with the Josh Norman thing, I think it's really shitty how he's not the one that started that, and a lot of people didn't want to talk about how the Panthers came out with their big-ass mallet and threatened to hit Odell's leg, tear his ACL.
Yeah, but you don't think like they did. But why did they? You know? Like they weren't going to hit him with the fucking bat. Like what did he think they were going to do? Like, but he let it. But you did exactly what they wanted you to do. Like, you know what he should have did? Like, if you remember that Panther game, like on the opening drive, Eli hit him for what would have been a 52-yard touchdown, and he was wide open, and he dropped the ball. That's how you stick the bat up their ass. Catch the ball, put it down in the end zone, walk to the sideline, because nobody can cover you. So don't let them get in your how do you let them get in your head? You're the most talented player on the field. Like, just play. Just play, Odell.
Yeah, I mean, the only issue I've ever had with him as far as was that boat trip. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of that. But as far as, I'm a little bit different than you. As far as, like, the kicking that thing went, I thought that was just a really funny, like, spin on the media, because the media in New York
You
disgusting.
friggin' young guys. You young guys.
I didn't have a problem with it, man. I thought it was funny as shit. I was like, all right, man. Like, the net hit him in the face. Like, the media gave him shit. He proposed to it. All right, whatever.
No, you weren't alone. You weren't alone. You weren't alone.
Yeah.
I think here's the other thing is I'm just an asshole too. That's the other thing.
I'm in that camp. That he's also correct on that. All right, Jeff.
There you go.
I think I
too, man. But the thing is, I just disagree with that. You know what I mean? As far as that Odell stuff, but I respect what you're saying. That's the difference. If you didn't have the stuff to back up what you're saying, I would straight up call you a dumbass and we'd argue. But you have good points. So they're fair.
Well, I wouldn't.
You listen.
And here's the thing: it's hard to express this on Twitter. Like it's hard to like I don't have the time or the patience to sit there in those characters and really like dive into like the reasons why behind it. So people take the statements as it's like just very like you just hate Odell, and it's like if you knew it and I could really express to you what it is, that it's not really a hatred, it's like a frustration and a disappointment, then maybe you would see it from a different angle. But it's hard to so people they see shit and they're like, oh god, this guy's a dick, he just hates him, and it's like it's not that. It's not that at all. It's a litany, it's a list of things.
That's what happened to me, man, with Dwayne Haskins, man, and that's why I started showing my face and posting videos, because the comments I would get are unbelievable. They're like, why do you hate him? And the most common thing I got, and I got it yesterday, and a guy got banned from it. I kid you not. I mean, obviously,
there was the racist thing, right?
And, yeah, and he got and this guy, he was claiming that I don't like Dwayne Haskins because he's black and I'm a racist cracker for it. I was like, well, first off, Kyler Murray is not white, so I don't know what you're talking about. Second off, the problem with the whole situation is if I had a problem with that race at our quarterback, I don't even know what to say. Like, it was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. It was like this guy was coming after me and my buddies, calling us racist, while I was sitting there saying I like Kyler Murray. And I was just like, where's the correlation? You know what I mean? I was like, okay, so I'm racist and I don't like black quarterbacks, but I like Kyler Murray. So where's the correlation here? I'm really confused. That's why I started making the videos I do, man, and they get, thousands and thousands of views, and it's like, that's so much easier to me than putting things into characters, because it's like, I can write, man, but the problem is I could be like, I don't like Dwayne Haskins because I don't like the way he does this. And everyone's like, oh my God, you hate him. Why do you hate him? Is it because he's black? Is it because he's this? Do you not like him because he does this? I'm like, no, I said what I said and I mean what I said. It's blunt. I don't like this about him. That's it. And everyone just runs with it.
There are a few people when we started bringing it up, there were people like, oh, the Giants are never going to have a black quarterback, and we had to go down the list of every black quarterback that the Giants had. Of like, yeah, the Giants have had black quarterbacks for a long time, and the Giants have had starting black quarterbacks for. Geno Smith at least was the first starter that I can remember. I was like, this is not a thing. You're making it up,
It's what everyone does these days. It's like they'll reach for anything. I'm not even just saying that as far as the race thing goes. That's just general. Like if I post something and I have like a spelling error, like earlier, someone just trolled the hell out of me, man. Somebody did a mock draft and people send them to me because the draft stuff is where I build all my credibility. I mean, I went to the Senior Bowl. I met Will Hernandez, all these guys, got all this insider stuff. Last year, met Baker Mayfield, all them. And, so people send me, like I predicted the whole draft last year, like the first 4 rounds. So people like love that with me. You know what I mean? They send me their mock drafts. And someone got my neck so bad, and people came after me, bro. Like someone had Kyle Shurmur as our first round pick. And then it was like Rinsner and all these guys. It was a really good mock. And I didn't pay attention that it was Kyle Shurmur. And I quoted it with the fire emoji. I was like, shit, I like this.
I saw that.
Oh, my God. Dude, within like 3 minutes, bro, everyone was like, you're a dumbass. You're stupid. Why would you? And I was like, dude, okay. Like, relax a little bit. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't see it. It's crazy, man.
I love it. I love it.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up for tonight, I think.
Rob, thanks a lot, man, for stopping in, bro. That was awesome. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all having me, man. Y'all are...
Hey, let our listeners know. I'm sure you got some people listening, but let our listeners know who aren't following you where they can catch you, where you're on. Give yourself a shout out.
All that info.
No, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Most definitely. I really enjoyed y'all having me, man. Y'all are a knowledgeable group, and I'd love to be back. So just let me know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, what's your Twitter handle? Where can people find you and follow?
Everything NYG, man. Capital NYG.
Gotcha.
Right.
We'll make sure we shout you out, and we'll have you on again. Thanks a lot, bud.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care.
Justin and James, down to 2.
Hey,
nice
that was a good show, right?
Yeah, definitely was.
Well, I still don't know who this person is on the other end of the phone.
You're obviously not that active on the Twitters. Let me see if I can.
I stumbled upon him, Justin. I stumbled upon this guy, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "This guy has 5,600 followers. He's only following like 50 people." And so I started following him, and he's got some legit shit going on. And he put out something to his followers, like, "Hey, how do you see me? Do you see me as just an educated fan? Do you see me as an actual source with like all the contact I've worked up and the shit that I put out?" And dude, everyone was replying to him like source. So I figured, hey, he seems knowledgeable. He seems like a person that has a lot of contacts. And if we can have him on and create a relationship with him, and he gets some followers from us and we get some followers from him, everybody wins. People helping people.
Yeah, no, I'm down.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, I know, like, you know, I've stumbled upon him at Twitter. What I'm saying is, I don't know this version of Jimmy on the other end of the line. So
oh, you mean
me?
Oh, Jimmy.
Me?
This is new Jimmy.
Oh.
So polite.
Well, I'm in a good. I told Marco. I told Marco in the beginning of the show. I'm in a very good mood. It's nice that a lot of fans are starting to see the light. I don't feel so alone anymore. I told him I'm in a good mood. I'm having a good time.
I think.
All right.
Again, from the press conferences today, I think that, to me, the Kyler Murray love, all the talk about size and some players have the it factor, just seems a little forced. And if Ernie Accorsi, you know, if Gettleman is really taking what he's saying to heart, then Haskins is the guy.
He might be the guy, but is he going to trade up to get him, or are they just going to settle at 6 and take Murray?
Well, he didn't put trading up to get him out of the realm of possibility if you're taking him at his word. So I don't think they know what they're going to do yet. Here's what I think that, and I posted this on Twitter before. I think that Haskins separates himself from everybody else when you get him on the board. And I think when teams see him breaking down film and his ability to work the whiteboard, I think it's going to separate him from a lot of the other guys, how advanced he is in reference to doing that stuff and what he sees as compared to what other people see. And, for as much as a 180 is attractive with a guy like Kyler Murray, I'm more of a put my quarterback in the pocket and let him pick apart somebody with his right arm or left arm, as opposed to running around and putting himself at risk out there with these fucking monsters that are trying to kill him. So it's really just a different mindset, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you what my greatest fear is. My greatest fear is that they either miss out on Haskins at 6 or
Sorry, bros, we dropped out over there. We were wrapping it up anyway. I want to thank everyone for for joining in, for the comments, for the likes, for the shares. We will talk to you next week. And thank you once again, and peace out.